Man, look at all these cars.
Hey, have you heard, by the way? The Japanese company Kobelco is working to make the world's cars lighter.
So what does that mean?
Kobelco is using aluminum and steel technologies to make car parts and bodies lighter around the world.
Ah, Japanese technology. The country of karate. Ha! Ha! Ha!
Why do we always do that?
I don't know.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
ベトナムに対してワクチンの技術援助をするとか、我々の技術を出せばですね、救われる人たちがたくさんいる。でもう一つは非常に少ない疾病の患者さんたちのための開発をやってます。いかにしたら未だ治らない病気の治療薬ができるかっていう、そこにみんなの気持ちが大体集まってます。
The sport truck. New Mitsubishi Triton.
Drive at Earth Mitsubishi Motors.
Oryx is driving business in Asia through leases, investments, real estate development, energy businesses, and more. Making business more dynamic and fast-paced than ever. Oryx.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Makia Rai.
And I'm Makiko Utsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan from a studio here in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
So let's get started. First up is Dream Weavers, in which we introduce the innovations of Japan's small and mid-sized companies.
This time we look at a company that makes dried salmon shavings. The company we'll be introducing today is called Maruwa Shinwa Construction, and it makes dried salmon shavings in Shibetsu, which is a town in the eastern edge of Hokkaido.
Did you just say a construction company?
Yes, you heard right. And the town itself is a major fishing port, and it has been ranked #1 in Japan for its annual hauls of autumn salmon many times in the past.
But why is a construction company making dried salmon shavings?
Well, the reason, simply put, is the love the company president has for the community. And visiting the company is Hikaru Tanaka, who's a comedian, and he's also published his own manga. So take a look.
A summer festival in Shibetsu, Hokkaido. This impressive-looking float is carrying the symbol of this region, salmon. The name Shibetsu is actually an Ainu word meaning place of salmon. The town boasts some of the biggest hauls of salmon in Japan. At the festival, there's one stall where an especially long line is formed. They're serving ramen noodles, but apparently not the regular kind. It's a ramen of dried salmon shavings. The soup is made from stock of dried salmon shavings, which are also sprinkled generously over the noodles. What do the customers think?
A nice flavour hits your nose and expands. It's delicious. Unlike dried bonito shavings, it tastes sweet. The aroma is really good.
Dried salmon shavings are made from salmon that's smoked, hardened, and shaved. This product, Hanafubuki, is considered among the best, winning numerous awards at food competitions. But why use this for ramen?
By selling ramen that uses dried salmon shavings, I want to promote dried salmon shavings.
He's the president of a company making dried salmon shavings. To promote this still relatively unknown food, he decided to collaborate with a ramen vendor on this day.
This is packed with dried salmon shavings. Dried bonito shavings contain inosinic acid and have a kick.
The umami, or taste ingredient of dried salmon and dried bonito shavings, is different. He says they can also be used together. Masanori Tamura is the first person in Japan to start full-scale production of dried salmon shavings. But
we're actually a construction company. We're in the construction business.
These highly regarded dried salmon shavings are in fact made by a construction company. But why? Arriving to unravel this mystery is manga artist Hikaru Tanaka. Known in Japan as a comedian, he has actually already published 5 manga books, a rare combination of comedian and manga artist. Among his works is a single-frame manga called Salaryman Yamazaki Shigeru, which has sold more than 100,000 copies. Before setting out, he's told the purpose of his visit.
Does it have something to do with using a planer? That's the only thing I can think of.
So saying, Mr. Tanaka starts writing something with his pen. Maybe the president thinks salmon is a type of tree. If that's the case, I'll have to school him. That it's not. Mr. Tanaka starts probing the company. Shibetsu, Hokkaido. This is the home of the company that's gaining a reputation for making those exceptional dried salmon shavings. Maruwa Shinwa Construction. So, why is a construction company making dried salmon shavings?
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
This is the president, Masanori Tamura. Mr. Tanaka immediately spots something near the president's desk.
It says auction on August 7th. This? There's an auction for public housing. I also go to those. So you're also doing a lot in that area? Yes, we are.
Maruwa Shinwa Construction is an established construction company involved in home construction and public works projects, primarily in the Shibetsu area. More than half of the employees are construction workers. So, it's time to ask that burning question.
Why is a construction company making dried salmon shavings? There are many reasons. But first, production is just starting at the factory now. So take a look, and I'll explain along the way.
Next to the office is the dried salmon shavings factory. 7 in the morning. Work is already underway. The first thing he sees?
These fish are actually salmon. This is the color. The color isn't what I imagine it to be.
These are salmon that have done their part spawning. As they've lost fat and aren't considered tasty to eat, prices are said to be low. But because they don't have fat, they are more easily smoked and perfect for making dried salmon shavings.
These salmon would normally be considered useless and thrown away. But we can use them. That's wonderful.
The manufacture of dried salmon shavings plays a role in the utilization of regional resources. The main ingredient, salmon,
This is the one from that I'll Be Back movie.
is boiled here for an hour.
It doesn't look like salmon anymore. More of a white meat fish.
Next, the skin and bones will be removed. But how they do that is a company secret. So,
I feel like I've become an industrial spy.
it apparently has something to do with the way the salmon is processed with their hands. Moving on, it's time for the smoking process.
They're piled higher than I would expect. 7 layers. We're going to start the fire.
The salmon are placed on steamers and smoked over an open fire. This is called a Tebiyama-style furnace. Wood is used for the fire. But the method of putting in the wood is unique.
We're going to pile it up. Put it over like this.
The wood is placed on a rod with a bent end and arranged alternately 1 meter below.
It looks difficult to do. I'm going to jot this down.
The wood itself is also unique.
They're forest thinnings that you get in this region. They're actually troublemakers. So trees that aren't needed in the first place.
This material is also related to the efficient utilization of regional resources. Put over an open flame for 3 hours, cooked with residual heat for 2 hours, and smoked for 5 hours. The color changes to this. But split open, the inside is still white. They are then transported to a large 3-floor rapid smoking room. The salmon first go to the 2nd floor. Similar to the earlier process, it has a steamer structure with smoke rising from the bottom. The wood is burned on the 1st floor. Once the moisture is removed, the salmon are moved to the 3rd floor. Smoked about 9 times for a month here, they are finally done. To make sure the just-made flavor doesn't escape, they're packaged right away.
We're going to remove the oxygen.
The oxygen is removed and nitrogen is added before the package is sealed. This ensures that the taste can be enjoyed for a year. After a surprising amount of time and effort, the salmon has finally become a product. But why did a construction company start full-scale production of dried salmon shavings in the first place? It had something to do with the president's hobby. He's actually the representative of the Regional Soba Noodle Society and is quite a skilled soba maker. This may appear to be unrelated, but it was what drove him to start making dried salmon shavings.
This is really good. People were talking about whether it would be possible to make soup stock from salmon, which is a big resource of the region. I felt I could contribute to regional revitalization and started making dried salmon shavings. The taste is definitely different from dried bonito shavings.
The dream of making soup for soba from an ingredient of shibetsu. That was the beginning of dried salmon shavings.
Nikko, one of Japan's leading tourist destinations. Here, you will be charmed by nature's bounty and will enjoy the beautiful scenery. You will also experience Japanese history at World Heritage temples and shrines. Nikko and Kinugawa, as well as the historic hot springs, are charming. Asakusa is easily accessible from the airport. It takes 2 hours from Asakusa to reach Nikko and Kinugawa via the Spacia Limited Express. Let's go to Nikko!
Making better living with functional labels and films. Connecting dreams throughout the world with our unique technology. Linking your dreams now from Japan to the world. For adhesive products, we are Lintec.
Japanese SMEs with world-class technology, quality, and reliability. Innovative online matching site for finding business partners you can trust. J-Good Tech, your solution is here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tokyo Skytree. Be awestruck by the panoramic view. There are so many other fun things to do after you've enjoyed the view. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go, let's enjoy. This is Tokyo Skytree.
You're watching Channel Japan. So, Tsuda-san, what's next?
Yes, next we bring you a special program produced by Broadcast Satellite Japan about the luxury cruise train 7 Stars in Kyushu.
I know that in the 2 years since the train went into operation, it's attracted many wealthy travelers from Japan and abroad and has become sort of a signature product of JR Kyushu.
Yes, that's right. And we have a report on how this train is contributing to revitalizing the region. So take a look.
The Project Japan. 7 Stars in Kyushu is a luxury cruise train launched by JR Kyushu in the autumn of 2013. A 4-day, 3-night journey for 2 people can cost up to 1.5 million yen. But despite the high price tag, reservations are pouring in from across Japan and abroad, with demand outstripping available rooms by 170 times. Chosen as one of the offerings on this train, generating a big windfall for the town where it's produced, is a certain juice.
This is the juice. It has a clear white color, but it's tomato juice. It's made in Tsuno, Miyazaki Prefecture. The tomato itself is extremely small, but the extract has been slowly squeezed out, strained and made into a juice.
Did you know about this?
Well, I am the former agriculture minister after all.
You're right, excuse me.
I'm at a loss for words. It's my first time drinking it, but I've heard a lot about it.
I'll try it too. How should I describe this?
It's tomato juice, isn't it? The taste.
The taste is tomato juice. The aroma is also tomato. It's tomato for sure, but the texture is completely different. It's not really tomato juice.
What is it? It has a sharp taste. To get this quality, this kind of tomato, and turn it into this, this is the only place in the world you can find it. It's a product of passion and innovation. This is how Tsuno Town can become an agricultural capital. This is also another example of how Seven Stars has re-energized a town.
The golden tomato juice that they were both drinking is now a standard offering on the train. Tsuno, Miyazaki Prefecture. That tomato juice was made here by Kazuhiro Miyazaki of Waso Farm. After quitting his office job, he began farming in this town. Asked why he chose to grow tomatoes, he gives a surprising answer.
I hate tomatoes. I hate them. I still hate them. Even now, I just can't eat regular tomatoes.
To grow tomatoes different from typical varieties, he adopted a cultivation method using a special type of film. By ensuring that nutrients are thoroughly and evenly distributed to the root, he succeeded in developing tomatoes that have a sugar content of 10 to 13 degrees Brix, more than double that of regular tomatoes.
It's undeniably big. Sales probably haven't doubled, but it's been quite effective when you compare the numbers with last year. I still haven't seen the exact figure, but it's close to double.
To get 7 stars to choose the tomatoes grown by Mr. Miyazaki, these 3 young people joined hands. Toshiyasu Inomata of the local tourism association, and Taisuke Kawano, an owner of a restaurant serving dishes made with local ingredients.
People from around the world come to ride 7 stars. When the 3 of us were drinking one time, we decided to aim for the world. And that's kind of how it happened. When we asked what's expected of 7 stars, they told us things that are extravagant. We thought, do we have anything extravagant? And came to the conclusion that we had nothing like that.
So how could they turn tomatoes into an extravagant product? The trio first came up with the idea of juice. But
something like this could be made by anyone with a juicer. There's nothing surprising about it.
They weren't able to come up with any other ideas and left the boiled tomato juice to sit outside. Then, a day later, the clear portion and red portion had cleanly separated. To do this artificially, they tested out various methods and finally arrived at a solution by using 3 paper coffee filters. Drop by drop, a clear liquid trickles out. Making the juice requires 4 days and much effort.
A lot of time and effort is spent checking the condition. If there's any redness, we have to filter it again.
5 years ago, Tsuno suffered a major disaster, an outbreak of foot and mouth disease across the entire southern part of Miyazaki Prefecture. The prefecture suffered economic losses of 200 billion yen. The atmosphere in the town of Tsuno also underwent a big change.
Every year, one by one, shops pulled down their shutters. Then foot and mouth disease arrived with a bang. That's about when we first met. After foot and mouth disease, we were determined more than anyone else to revive Tsuno.
Against this backdrop, the launch of 7 Stars was the first good news the town had in a long time. They may not have had money, but these young men put their brains together and squeezed out ideas and came up with a shining golden drink.
We had to take the initiative and go on the offensive. 7 Stars arrived fortuitously in our town, and we had each other all on the same vector to take on the challenge. So we felt confident about doing this. It might be impossible for one person alone, but with us 3, we felt we might be able to do it. It was like being given a space to challenge ourselves. It's something we didn't have before.
The golden juice delivered a 7 Stars effect to the entire town. At a roadside station in the town center, many people come from afar to buy the tomatoes. That's not all.
These are Italian cookies made from the tomatoes.
A range of products using the tomatoes has been put on the market. Smiles have returned to the faces of the townsfolk.
Tomatoes are fantastic.
7 Stars passes through other areas brimming with renewed energy. Beppu, Oita Prefecture, Japan's top hot spring town. Inbound tourism is taking on a new shape here. Beppu receives about 280,000 foreign tourists every year. One catalyst is Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University, or APU, that was established in 2000. Half of the student body is from overseas. About 50 mainly Asian countries are represented. Vice President Masaharu Imamura, who helped set up the school, says there were objections to the university in the beginning.
I heard that in the beginning and until the school opened, you faced many difficulties.
When we told the people here that we were going to build a university where half the students would be foreigners, and foreigners from countries that many weren't familiar with, and that they were going to live in this town, naturally there were concerns. We heard a lot about their concerns and worries.
But in spite of those initial fears, the foreign students blended into the town.
The people of Beppu are all very nice.
When our international students go to Tokyo for work and people ask them where they're from, they say Beppu.
Not the home countries, but Beppu.
They love it here. To have that sort of affection for a place, something regional. Of course, it's because Beppu is an attractive town. And now the residents are also starting to show a sense of local pride.
And the international students who arrived are becoming the engine of a new town-building movement in Beppu. Zafar Saeed was part of the first graduating class of APU and came to Japan 15 years ago from Pakistan. This devout Muslim made
flyers,
a Muslim-friendly map. Designed for Muslim students and tourists, it shows restaurants and other places that have halal menus and food.
If you want to try Japanese-style ramen, then you can go here. They have a halal menu for Muslims.
Do you have this map?
Yes, I've taken one. Very useful, because for us, the Muslim brothers, they are very particular about food. So we have direction, we have halal food, and they tell us where to go. So there's a good guide, so we're happy here.
Yusha.
This is an establishment combining a shop and a restaurant offering halal food for Muslims. The owner is a graduate of Beppu University. He started this business 7 years ago.
I had help from Japanese people. There are more Muslims now, and someone had to start a place like this.
The efforts of this graduate became widely known, and a growing number of Muslim tourists are visiting Beppu. Hyotan Hot Springs was opened in the Taisho era. As many overseas tourists come here, they decided to change a long-standing rule.
There's a phrase in the brochure that says you can go in with your bathing suit.
Just as you said that.
Even my other friends have to cover up from here to here.
How was the hot spring?
Very hot. Very good.
Very hot.
Good. Very nice.
Why do you make such a big effort?
Because whether you're Japanese or Asian, we're all earthlings. And more the merrier.
By welcoming foreign students, Beppu is starting to evolve into an international hot spring resort. And by introducing these local communities of Kyushu to tourists, 7 Stars connects the entire region. It is also a train that is becoming the engine of the local economy.
Mitsui & Company.
Winter in Japan. Lovely views. Heartwarming flavors. And exhilarating experiences. Discover the best Japan has to offer right here in central Japan this winter. Nagoya Railroad Group.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we have a report from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite. So, Uza-san, what's the topic?
Yes, this time we have a report on people who are building small cottage-like rooms in their backyards.
So I imagine it's popular among young consumers?
Yes, you're right, and especially with the growing number of people who prefer to work in the city during the week and run off to the countryside on weekends, it's seen as a new living style. So take a look.
Yokosuka, Kanagawa Prefecture, a house that's 40 years old. Living here is a family of 4, the Tamuras, so it's a bit cramped.
My kids scribble on the walls.
The walls are covered with the children's scribbling. The Tamuras had long wanted a playroom for their children. And, through a certain method, they've realized that dream.
Like a secret base. I thought it would be fun for them.
In his yard, Mr. Tamura built a small cottage for his children to use as a playroom. It has about 7 square meters of floor space and is 3 meters high. Inside, he's also built a loft, creating a play space for his children. Mr. Tamuda purchased something called a cottage kit that makes building a cottage easy, even for a first-timer. His children helped with painting, and together they finished it in 2 days. The cost was about 600,000 yen. He says it's significantly less expensive than asking a contractor to build it.
The atmosphere is better when you use wood like this rather than typical prefab material. It was a good experience and fun too.
The cottage kit bought by the Tamuda family was manufactured by Hokkaido-based Hokuto Busan. The company has sold 2,500 kits to date. Orders have come in from across the country, and the factory is running at full capacity. The main characteristic of the kit is that it uses a panelized construction method of assembling pre-cut materials. Customers don't need to saw any wood in the process. All that's required is an electric screwdriver to put the panels together. A small cottage can be built in just 1 day by 2 adults.
We think the biggest advantage is that people can build it themselves. With our products, there's nothing difficult.
With the recent do-it-yourself boom, sales have been on the rise. The company expects record sales this fiscal year. One of their most popular products is this 5 square meter cottage. It's also used as a storage shed or small shop. The price is about 250,000 yen. And this 15 square meter cottage is often set up as a hobby room. Until recently, these structures were mostly used as storage sheds. But now, more people are buying them for other purposes, and sales of bigger models have grown.
This is the wooden window frame. And this is the resin type one.
As they are increasingly used as hobby rooms, the company sells options such as windows and doors with better heat resistance. Hokuto Busan believes that these cottages may have even more uses and is betting that the market will further expand.
People with dreams of building something exactly as they imagined and at low cost will look at wood products like this and our panelized houses and find all kinds of uses for them.
The growing popularity of such small cottages is being seen as a business opportunity by online real estate information provider Sumika.
You can include the cottage part or the entire backyard.
In February 2015, the company launched Cottage Market, an online service to list and sell the various types of cottages offered by builders nationwide. In July, the company held the first Cottage Festival in Nagano Prefecture. It featured about 20 cottages and drew about 14,000 visitors. Junichi Sato of Sumika says these cottages may become a new lifestyle tool.
You can do things you couldn't do before when you have a cottage. We want these cottages to be a tool to expand your lifestyle.
We visited the home of a person who fell in love with the idea after going to the Cottage Festival and bought one for himself. Living in Hokuto, Yamagata Prefecture, is Masao Ota. He purchased this earth dome. The price was about 500,000 yen. The main characteristic is the rounded roof made with triangular panels. It was jointly developed by lifestyle goods retailer Tokyu Hands and a Nagoya-based builder. Mr. Ota says he enjoys looking out from the dome at the natural scenery and reading magazines inside.
Everyone wants their own hideout space. This isn't like your room. It's more segregated. It's completely your own private space.
Mr. Ota finally has a space he's dreamt about over the years. Such cottages are now being used not just as study or hobby rooms, but also for businesses, such as small cafes. Sumika has developed a new product based on the cottage concept. On this day, wood is being brought into a showroom in Shibuya, Tokyo. What exactly is this product?
It's a cottage to create a space inside the home.
A cottage inside the home? It's about 1.8 meters high. This is a cottage for inside the room. This study room type has a desk and a chair. There's also a space big enough for an adult to sleep. This one, for children, has a loft-like structure. And this is a multifunctional type. There are bookshelves around and a big space in the center. The walls can be dressed in wallpaper or painted. As a private space can be created without too much work, the company believes this method will spread to the renovation market as well.
When people think of the word cottage, they think of a secret base or a fun space. You could have a partition, but it's not about functionality. It's about creating a space where there's a feeling of fun and enjoyment.
Cottages are expanding outside and inside the home. Will they help build a new market?
Potenza. We do our jobs with sincerity and integrity to make a better living environment for the people and our society. Today's work, tomorrow's heritage. Shimizu Corporation.
Let's paint a vision. Your imagination. It started moving round the world. Dream car. Let's paint a vision. Your imagination. It started moving round the world. From a sketch on a piece of paper. Come together now. Dream car.
Machines can do much more to unleash human potential. Pure possibility. Omron.
Let's go skiing! That's wonderful!
Icicle!
Next time!
And next, we bring you a segment called Takumi from Science View, a program produced by NHK.
Takumi literally means artisan in Japanese, and it's a word often used to describe craftsmen with exceptional skills.
So, who's our Takumi today?
I'm sure you've had your hair washed at a beauty salon.
Of course, every time before a haircut.
So, in that case, I'm sure you know that the seat near the sink reclines, but for someone in a wheelchair, it can be difficult to use. And so a hairstylist who had experience cutting hair for people in wheelchairs developed a wheelchair that makes it more easier for them to get their hair done in a proper beauty salon. So, take a look.
We visited Oita City, which is located in Oita Prefecture and part of the Kyushu region.
Hi, Michelle. I've been told that the Takumi, or innovator I'm going to meet today, is a hairdresser. Let's go meet him.
Hello, I'm Michelle Yamamoto.
Hello, I'm Tanaka.
Today's Takumi is Koichi Tanaka. He runs this beauty salon. I heard that there is something here that you developed. What is it?
Yes, it's this hairdressing wheelchair.
A wheelchair?
That's right.
It looks really cool, but it's not so often that you see wheelchairs in this kind of setting. Why a wheelchair in a beauty salon?
Oh, let me show you. Please follow me.
I was taken to... Oh, the place where they wash your hair.
Try sitting in a standard chair first. I'm going to lower the backrest.
The backrest was tilted backwards.
Did you slide out of position a bit?
Yes, I did.
Now, please try the chair over here.
Next, I tried the wheelchair that the Takumi developed. Whoa! I slid in the other chair and had to readjust my position, but I didn't slide at all in this chair. With the Takumi's wheelchair, there's no need to correct your sitting position after the backrest is reclined. What is the mechanism?
The seat is actually divided into two parts.
One of the main features is that the seat is divided into two parts. The front part is hard, while the rear part is soft. The rear part also moves with the backrest and tilts about 20 degrees. With this, your hips sink in naturally and your body doesn't slide. And it's easy to operate. Stepping on the pedal causes the seat and backrest to recline together. The development of this wheelchair started with a service that Tanaka offered. He would visit the homes of disabled clients who found it hard to travel to the salon and cut their hair there. When doing so, he would use the wheelchair owned by the client. But Tanaka found that it was difficult to work with. So he made up his mind to develop a wheelchair that could be used for beauty treatments. After 2 years, this is what was developed. However,
Just a reclining function isn't enough because the body slides. I realized that it needed a mechanism that would prevent that.
yet he didn't know how to go about it and hit a dead end. Then he met Kiyomi Matsuo, an associate professor at Saga University and a specialist in the development of welfare equipment. Matsuo had always found it troublesome to go to barber shops in his wheelchair. He felt that Tanaka's project might solve his problem.
So, what Mr. Tanaka was doing sounded like a great idea to me.
The two hit it off at their first meeting and decided to develop the product together. With Matsuo's knowledge, development of a mechanism to prevent the body from sliding began moving forward. Tanaka also presented his ideas using handmade models that were made on a 1/10 scale.
The models helped us see new things. For example, that the seat and backrest shouldn't be attached.
After much trial and error, the hairdressing wheelchair was completed in 2010. The wheelchair has a movable armrest and a seat that distributes body weight evenly. Simple and convenient, they're also being used in hospitals and nursing facilities. Tanaka is now developing a new wheelchair that will be easy to carry around.
In the future, there will be a higher demand for house call beauticians. So I want to create a portable wheelchair that can be folded. I want to make products that can be used for house calls, and I've actually already begun commercializing some.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you, so join us again next week.